What's cooking, Juventus fans? Welcome back to your old lady's favorite YouTube channel. Could this potentially be a week of multiple here we goes? First off, we had Di Maria at the beginning of the week on Monday. Could potentially there be another player? That's the rumor mill and what it seems to look like coming up for Juventus. Stick with us. We'll fill you in. Ciao ragazzi, welcome back to the Bianconeri Zone. My name is Justin Sofro. Today, it's Wednesday, June 29th, 2022, and of course I got your latest rundown of all things Juventus, all the news you care about each and every day. Before we get into it, though, make sure you smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon to stay notified for all of our latest videos. Now let's get into the news that is. Could there potentially be a second here we go? Is it today? Well, stay tuned. We're going to keep you on pins and needles throughout the day, and be sure we are as well. First off, let's jump into it. The very first news story of the day that we have for you is talking about Di Maria, the situation going on with him. Even though we kind of know where we sit right now, we have Di Marzio, who's going to come in here with maybe losing a little bit of his fastball, but basically getting that last second confirmation there for the end, just really confirming what we already know. Coming in here, he says that all the details have almost been finalized for the arrival of Di Maria at Juventus, who will sign a one-year contract. The announcement will still come next week, but the main news of the last hours is that the fixed amount of the salary will be set around 6 million euros, which is less than what had been expected in recent days. Higher bonuses will be linked to appearances and goals. In this way, Juventus will protect themselves and the player, who will do better and earn more. That's an interesting piece. The really interesting part of this is because, of course, if you've been on the channel at all and you've heard me, I've voiced, if you will, I've aired a little bit of negativity when it comes to Di Maria, and that is because I have a hard time fully buying in and believing that he will be anything but a mercenary. And a mercenary is absolutely fine. But what I mean is a mercenary who, one, didn't want to come here to begin with. He and his family would rather be in Spain right now. The option to go to Barcelona never arrived. It never is going to arrive. So he will be a Juventus player. We have the here we go. He is now agreeing to come to Juventus. But one of the good things that's coming in with this is that there's a lower set, confirmed number that they have to pay, the 6 million euros. But the bonuses can work to make him actually compete out there and make sure that he's putting in an effort. I understand. I feel like he's going to compete for sure for the first half of the season, especially getting through to the World Cup. But then my biggest question has always been, what happens after the World Cup? What happens if Argentina go out there, win the World Cup? He can just take a vacation, chill out, and do nothing for the rest of the season. Well, if he wants those extra numbers, the extra couple, million euros, if you will, he will go out there and get the goals, get the appearances, do what he needs to do. So that's a good sign for me and the move for Di Maria. Let's move on to another topic of the day and talking about Ligt and the situation that continues to unfold with him. Well, the latest we have right here is the situation is just plain difficult. Romeo Gresti comments saying that this week we will find out if Chelsea is serious about Ligt. So this week is going to be a pivotal moment to know if Ligt is going to be if he's going to be the leader of our defense this next season and for future seasons, but really most importantly for this season. Continuing off of that, we had Alfredo Padula, who had some comments talking about the situation, how it's continuing to develop, saying that Matthias de Ligt, delicate situation. The Dutchman is not happy with last season at Juventus. The tactical feeling with Allegri is not at the top. Chelsea need to sign a defender, but at the moment are not putting up the 120 million euros on the table that is requested from Juventus. Really, probably closer to 100 million. Really, if you're being, for being honest. The Blues could make an offer of 80 to 90 million euros plus bonuses that the Bianconeri could consider. Manchester City, on the other hand, have only passed for information. So something to keep an eye on. Obviously, Manchester City is a club that could really go after him and buy him, but really they're only asking for information right now. They're not super interested. Chelsea is a real one to keep an eye on. Are they going to go all in? I've heard latest reports. Actually, we'll tease it because we'll talk about him in just a second. But latest reports, they could be going after 2 center backs. I think they will go after 2 center backs this Mercado. But both of the center backs that they're going after are top dollar guys, top interest guys, and would definitely mess with Juventus' Mercado as well. So we'll see how this ends up panning out. But as it stands right now, Matthias de Ligt, he may be outpricing himself for a move to Chelsea this summer. But it's always something to keep an eye on. They've got the money to do it. All right, let's continue on and talk about who could come in and replace. Well, we thought to replace Koulibaly, but really to replace the Ligt if he were to leave. Alfredo Padula is talking about Koulibaly, saying that Koulibaly knows that Juventus will put him at the top of their wish list, but other clubs would do the same. The Senegalese defender currently prioritizes his renewal with Napoli. We've said enough about him recently. You know the update. You know the status on him. Juventus want him. If they can get him, they will get him. The issue is the latest reports out here seem to hint that Chelsea not only are going for De Ligt, but they could also be going for Koulibaly as well. There's been reports saying that they could be both of them, or there's also been reports saying that they cooled off on the track for De Ligt and instead are going for Koulibaly, who is a more affordable option and seems more likely to be able to part, from the club. And of course, Koulibaly, if he does have any kind of, I want to say honor, but if he have any kind of commitment to Napoli outside of the renewal of him not getting the renewal, then maybe he would want to go to Chelsea and go to a Premier League squad instead of staying in the Serie A and going to a direct competitor. Unfortunately, this would also throw a wrench in the plans for Juventus, who are hoping to keep De Ligt and then to also add on Koulibaly to really strengthen and fortify that back line of the defense. If they do this, they'll have to go a different way. How exactly will they go? Who will be the first one that they call up after that? Well, we'll talk about that at a different time. All right, let's continue on and move this on to the next topic. Of course, it's my favorite topic of every day, and that is the Big Z update that we've been having lately. And Big Z is becoming some serious Zaniolo, if you will. Alfredo Padula, talking about Zaniolo, says that Juventus have positive feelings about Zaniolo. By Thursday, Friday, there will be a contact meeting. The positive sensations arise from the fact that Juve can either propose a player or do a loan deal with an obligation. Juventus have the will of the player not only manifested but clear. The Gilarossi, I always mess that one up. Sorry, my tongue is too big for my mouth half the time. Value Zaniolo at around 50 million euros, as we know. As I've said plenty of times before, I think Juventus probably. It just depends. It depends. Obviously, if they're going to get him on some kind of deal, an obligation to buy, something where they can work out a payment system similar to that of Chiesa, Locatelli, other deals that they've done, then maybe this is a situation where Juventus will end up paying the full price just over a longer period of time. Otherwise, I think if they're trying to get it all paid up now, you're going to look at working at a player there, talk about Artur, talk about even Weston McKennie, Rovella, any of those guys, as well as potentially a Moise Kean. We'll see how that situation develops, but it could be something to keep an eye on for sure. All right, let's continue on. Let's move on and talk about the situation going on with another player who's rumored on the Mercado, and that is that of Kostic, who Alfredo Padula has an update saying that Kostic, until he signs his renewal with Eintracht Frankfurt or considers another destination, means he's waiting for Juventus. And I think the only real comment I have for him right now, Kostic does some great things. He could be a solid, useful player if they were to sign him. I think Kostic is going to be that guy who's waiting till the end. I think that's the guy that Juventus will decide at the very end of the Mercado, see what works out, what doesn't work out, and if they have space for him, they'll add him. But I don't think he's a priority by any means, and I don't think it's any kind of a hurry to add him, and I think you could be looking at, August or so before you really have a final update on him. I could be wrong, but that's just the feeling that I get from the situation. Let's continue on and talk about a player that Juventus are probably deciding that they're going to keep, and that is that of Manetti. Romeo Guidetti just had a quick confirmation saying that Juventus have rejected all offers for Manetti. So all the guys that have come in asking for Manetti, wanting him to come in to their club, the smaller clubs, Monza, whatever, Cremonese, kind of clubs like that, or the Serie B side, Juventus are not having it. He's staying with the club. I mean, nothing else tells me that he's staying with the club more than this. So he's going to be one of those guys that will remain. Will Fagioli join him, or Rovella? We'll keep you updated. Moving on to a guy who will not be a part of Juventus' plans moving forward, and we've kind of known this a little bit, but it still kind of surprised me to get this final confirmation. But from his own side and him saying this, it is Partidazzo de Coppe, who have a report saying that Morata will not return to Juventus. The entourage has made it known that the striker's will is actually to stay in Atletico Madrid. So that's almost kind of surprising to me. It didn't seem that Atletico Madrid had any plans to utilize him, and it didn't seem like he had any plans to stay at Atletico. Now it looks like there's been a change of wills, change of the winds, whatever you want to call it. He actually wants to stay at Atletico, which is, fine, good for him. it's a little bit disappointing for me because I did like some things that Alvaro Morata did. And I think he'd be a solid either backup option or, side piece, if you will, for Juventus moving into the future. So it's unfortunate things didn't get worked out, but it looks like the future that includes Alvaro Morata is not to be. So best of luck to him. Hopefully he and his family can have a good thing going there once again in Spain. All right, and then the very last bit of news of the day is talking about Pellegrini, talking about what could be the here we go, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, we'll see what it is. Giovanni Albanese is reporting saying that the arrival of Cambiaso, who chose Juventus, may free Pellegrini, who has a mark in the Premier League. It most definitely will free Luca Pellegrini if they end up bringing him into the club. Because one of the things we know is, too, he had options between Inter and Juventus. He chose Juventus because Juventus actually told him and sold him that they have plans to use him in the first team, not to just loan him out, which is what Inter would have done. So, better or worse, if that's going to be a good thing for Juventus, we will see. That's yet to be determined. But the one thing we do know is that, Luca Pellegrini is going to have to be out because Alexandro is not going anywhere. As much as you and I would like to see him go somewhere, he ain't leaving until next Mercado. Maybe we can get Udogi at that time. But Cambiaso seems an option. We will talk about Cambiaso if that here we go does happen, which seems like it could be a preeminent thing. It could be any moment. Any moment now, we'll keep an eye on that and keep you all updated. Make sure you keep an eye on that and keep those notifications turned on because we'll be going live and you want to be able to join us for that as soon as it happens. Anyway, that'll do it for the news today. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. What are your thoughts when it comes to the whole situation that continues to unfold with the Ligt in his future, as well as that of Koulibaly, Zaniolo, and of course, what are your thoughts about Cambiaso? Are you excited about the player potentially joining Juventus in this Mercado? Let me know in the comment section down below. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, hit that bell icon to stay notified for all of our latest videos, and make sure you follow me at Justin Sofro on Twitter. Of course, you can follow Bianconeri Zone as well at Bianconeri Zone, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff. I'll see you guys next time. Forza Juve, Forza Bianconeri.